Welcome to the Run Lift Mom podcast, where we're talking about running, lifting, and momming, not necessarily in that order. Today, we're spending all of our time in the momming category. Did you know that daylight savings time is upon us? That's right. On Sunday, March 10th, we are going to spring forward, and every mom out there knows that this means havoc for their children's sleep habits. I've got your back, Mama. I have Annie Henderson, owner of Annie's Child Sleep Solutions, to provide tips that you can use whether you've got an infant, a toddler who naps, or a kid who doesn't enjoy a midday snooze. So without further ado, here's Annie Henderson. All right, y'all. So I have got Annie Henderson from Annie's Child Sleep Solutions here. And I just wanted to make sure I knew her business name. And she said, I'm not doing adults. It's Annie's Child. Welcome, Annie, to the Run Lift Mom podcast.
Good morning. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Yes, I work with children. I do not work with adults.
So if you are grinding and you're only sleeping 4 hours a night and chugging 10 coffees a day, Annie cannot help you at all. Who can you help, Annie, and how did you get into this?
Well, I can help anywhere from newborns to 5 years old, even older if you're school-age children is having issues. But I got in this purely because I have Irish twins. And
tell us what Irish twins means, because I know. I'm in these circles, but what if folks don't know?
So good point. I had 2 babies within a calendar year of 12 months. So my children are exactly 11 months apart to the day.
Are you guys hearing that? She had 2 babies in the course of a calendar year.
Yes, that has been one of my greatest achievements, I will say, as a human being, to be able to do that. But they gave me the inspiration to become a child sleep consultant because I was away from home. I'm a military spouse, and I PCSed with a newborn, my first child.
And PCS is permanent change of station for those not in the acronym know.
That's right. And then shortly after we moved into our new house in Kansas, I found out I was pregnant with my son, Hudson. My jaw hit the floor. I didn't accept his pregnancy for upwards of 5 months.
Mentally, you were like, nah, man, I got a baby now. There can't be one in my belly.
Yeah, exactly. It's it did not exist. I had this beautiful baby daughter that I was taking care of, but I could not accept my pregnancy with my son because that doesn't happen. That shouldn't happen. But it happened. And I knew I was away from home. I had no support besides my husband. And I needed to sleep in order to take care of 2 babies.
So at this time, you're not a sleep consultant yet. This is just a personal experience that you're having.
Yes.
Okay.
I am just a new mom trying to weed my way through what you're supposed to be doing or what society says you're supposed to be doing and what your baby is supposed to be doing. So I basically just said, well, screw all of you, because I'm going to do what I need to do in order to survive away from home. I need to sleep. So does my daughter. So I found a program called Sleep Sense, created by Dana Obelman, to sleep train my daughter. And I was amazed at how well she did on the program. It took her 4 nights to learn how to sleep consolidated through the night for 12 hours.
4 nights. So wait, how old was she at the time?
7 months.
Wow. Wow. So did you just go to the Googles and search? Because I feel like as moms, right, a lot of times when we have obstacles, we will go to the Google machine and we will find these message boards that tell us all these ridiculous things. How did you find this program?
So you make really good points, Susie. And the matter really came down to that there was so much information out there. I just said, I'm going to pick one and go with it because that's the only way I'm going to be able to stay committed. I can't just but this one says this and this site says this. That's conflicting, and that's not fair to my tired mommy brain. So I just had to pick one, and I chose her program, and it was amazing. She helped me teach my daughter how to have independent sleep skills. So then when the time came for my son to arrive, I started changing my behavior because I got her newborn program, my behavior with how I taught him how to sleep.
Ah, so it was a rocky start at first with your daughter. You found the program, and then you quite literally had testing ground a few months later for your son.
It was so epic how that just happened. But I was so thrilled by the program. I told everybody about it. If you want to sleep well, if you want your child to have a good relationship with sleep, you got to use this program. I told one of my spouse friends, my military spouse friends, and she actually said to me, Annie, you should do this for a living. I'm like, what do you mean do this for a living? Like, I thought I had given up my career. I thought that I was going to support my husband in his Army career, and I was just going to take care of the kids. I didn't even have a purview of doing anything like this. But I looked into it. I took the interview. I went through the process. I was accepted into the program. And I have been in love with this job ever since.
Awesome.
And I hope that every mom can feel as confident as I did when both my children were sleeping well.
Ah, this is awesome. So obviously, it's no. I have brought you on because we are knocking on daylight savings time. But I want to back up for a second. For those that are like, wow, I'm having issues. I did not know something like this existed. What? Sleep consultant's the thing? I want to back up because this is kind of like choosing a marathon training schedule. Run, Lift, Mom, runners. When you go to the Google machine, you will have decision anxiety if you go to every single link that you see on that Google front page. You just will. Like Annie said, there will be conflicting opinions. And so what you do is you make an educated decision and you stick with that one thing. And if you want to save yourself some time, get a coach in running and in sleep training. So
That's right.
So Annie, so you coach people, through this with the program. Tell us the biggest mistakes you see moms making, maybe with a newborn, and then maybe again as the child's getting a little bit older. They're 2, they're 3.
Yeah, absolutely. So with newborns, it's really interesting. Okay, think about a child, a newborn coming from the womb. What is that environment like? It's dark. It's muddled noise. It's a lot of swaying motion. So when that newborn baby comes out and they're upset and crying, it's because they're acclimating to their new outside world, right? But our first instinct is to pick that little newborn up and smush them into our face. Like, it's okay. It's okay. They have no vision. And all of a sudden, you're putting this huge blur in their face. And so if you want to calm them down and get them to sleep, because they only have a wake period of 45 minutes before they need to sleep again, you need to give them that environment that reflects the womb.
So is this why newborns will sleep really well in the car?
Yes, absolutely. It's the motion. That's what mimics mom's womb. The sound of the placenta, that could be the air vent in the microwave fan, or a shh. So if you put holding your newborn away from your body in a dark room so that their vision is not obstructed and it's more like the womb dark, and you shh and sway with them, you'll start to calm them down, and then you're able to put them down without having to hold them for an entire nap. So whenever
you said 45 minutes is 45 minutes. I just want to make sure everybody is hearing that. 45 minutes and then they need to sleep again?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Especially in the first month, 45 minutes is their max awake time. And a lot of moms they've gone for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I'm your child is now overtired.
So don't take your fresh new baby to the family get together and expect him or her to act normally for a 2-hour stretch while everyone passes them around.
Right. That is not something that you should be doing with a newborn. But yeah, they need a place of consistency to start to develop some regular routine. Now, newborns only have 2 stages of sleep. Stage 3 and stage 4, technically. So they bounce back and forth.
What does that mean? What do the stages mean?
That stage 4 is our deepest stage of sleep. It's where we sleep our hardest. Stage 3 is our REM sleep, where we dream.
Okay.
Newborns basically ping pong back and forth between those two stages of sleep upwards to 4 months of age. That's where the 4-month sleep regression comes into play. And I put this in air quotes. It's not a sleep regression. It is the first sleep developmental milestone at 4 months of age.
I love when you flip that, regression has that negative connotation, but I love what you're doing, Annie. You're framing it as like, this is part of the developmental process. This is not a hurdle, you guys. It's just something you need to work with for a child to get to the next stage.
Absolutely. That is right. Because that's when a child starts to develop sleep patterns like we do, stages 1, 2, 3, and 4. Taking their sleep cycles down to anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes. That's why your beautiful newborn baby who is sleeping, 2 hours to 5 hour increments, whether it be the daytime and the nighttime, it's all of a sudden waking frequently because their sleep cycles are shorter. And another attribute to that, if they've never learned how to self-soothe in the first 3.5 months of life, you better believe they're going to be waking up multiple times come that 4-month sleep regression.
So we're not going to do a full cry it out debate.
No.
But
no.
What mistakes do you see, Mom, in terms of self-soothe? Like, how can we inhibit our child's ability to learn how to self-soothe?
Well, that's a really great question. And the first I want to touch on, crying. Mm-hmm. Crying is a natural part of a baby's need. That is their communicator. Mm-hmm. That's how we're able to know as parents when to feed them, when to change them, when they're upset, when they have gas. But also, to cry is an emotional release. And babies need to have that release. You need to allow them to cry. But as adults, we actually have a hormone that kind of surges out when a baby cries. Like, oh, we got to take care of that baby right here, right now. And because we're uncomfortable by the cry.
Right.
But if we just give a baby a little bit of space, 1 minute, 2 minutes, just to hear the cry, okay, then go pick up baby, take care of baby.
Great.
And then you can increase that time. So one of the biggest mistakes is that we instantly go to baby as soon as they cry, not even allowing them to have any type of emotional release.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, so by letting them cry a little bit, we're then teaching them to self-soothe, which is going to help in this kind of big picture of sleep.
Right, and it's not an overnight thing. It is constantly needing to be practiced week after week, month after month. Mm-hmm. It's a continual thing, just like teaching your child to have good manners. Every day you remind your child, don't forget to say thank you. Mm-hmm. Make sure you wash your hands. You have to continue to remind them. Well, same with babies. You have to continue to have the same approach so that it's everlasting.
Yeah. So what about older children? So let's talk like toddlers, right? Like 2-3-year-old. What's a common mistake that you see moms making with a toddler?
Well, a lot of it is that they have transitioned in sleep props. So let's say that, you're a nursing mother and you have been nursing to sleep your child for, since they were a newborn. That's been the thing. And you're continuing to do that into the toddler years. Mm-hmm. First off, awesome for you for continuing that breastfeeding journey.
Right.
That's bravo. But secondly, the thing is that toddler has now had multiple years, if we're talking about 18 months, 2 years, of developing a habit of only being able to fall asleep with a prop, such as nursing to sleep or being rocked to sleep. Mm-hmm. So never taking the steps to break that habit and teach your toddler independent sleep habits will definitely backfire in the long run and cause you, mom, to be the sole person who can get your child back to sleep in the middle of the night.
So what I hear you saying is perhaps a way to prepare for toddler sleep is to start off with healthy habits from the beginning in that newborn stage.
Right. Absolutely. And the biggest, most important thing is that I want everybody to hear me say, if what you're currently doing is working for your family, then it does not need help.
Great.
But if you see that, if you have any thought in your brain that, I need to make a change. I need this child to sleep. I need something different. This is not working anymore. That's when it's time to take action and build that sustainable relationship with sleep for your child and yourself.
So did you guys hear that? Annie does not necessarily need to work with every single new mom out there. If you've got a jam that's working for you, let it keep working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right. Annie, talk to me. Okay, so like I'm the mom of 4 children under age 5. So for the last 3-4 years, every time that daylight savings time change rolls around, like I know it's going to throw a wrench into things. And I'm thinking there are other mothers out there that maybe they have a newborn baby, maybe it's more the toddler years like me.
Yeah.
What can daylight savings time, I'm publishing this. So like, y'all, it's coming up. It's coming up in a few days. Help us out, Annie. Like, how can we think about this now so we've got some maybe actions next week?
Okay, perfect. March 10th is the start of daylight savings time. So I repeat, it is the start of daylight savings time. We are springing forward an hour. So here's a couple of tips to help you survive the transition. First and foremost, do not touch your clock Saturday night. When you wake up Sunday, go about your day. Do your workout in the morning, have your coffee, then casually go around and change the clocks to the appropriate time. Now, for children who are no longer napping and are in school, here's what you're going to do to help them adjust. You are going to basically split the difference.
What do you mean by split the difference?
Okay, so what I mean by split the difference is, let's say that your child goes to bed at 7 p.m. every night.
Okay.
So
You are describing the Goodwin household. This is good.
Perfect. So then March 10th, 11th, and 12th, you're going to put your kids to bed at 7:30 p.m.
This is just like, y'all, I am not even kidding you. We have talked on this podcast about if you're trying to prepare for a marathon and get more sleep, you don't necessarily need to go to bed an hour earlier. You just put 30 minutes on each side and extend that as you go to your taper. I can do it with my kids too.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Keep going.
Okay. And then on the 4th night, they're back to their normal bedtime of 7 p.m.
Yes.
Very easy. For well-adjusted sleeping kids, it takes about a week to adjust to the new time.
Okay, so it's good to know going into it, it's going to take, like we're going to be in the pain cave for about a week.
I love that, pain cave. Yeah.
Yes. But splitting the difference is a really good strategic way to do it instead of just saying, boom, now everybody live as if the hour difference. You can ease yourself into it.
Absolutely. But that's for children who are not napping. Let's talk about toddlers who are napping.
Yes.
Okay, so for toddlers ages 1 and older, on Sunday, the first day of the time change, you would put your child down for their first nap, whether it be 1 or 2 naps, depending, 30 minutes later than normal.
Okay, so if their normal nap is 12:30, I'm putting them down at 1.
Yes.
Okay.
If their normal morning nap is 9:30, you're putting them down at 10 a.m.
Okay. So, and this is this in conjunction with splitting the difference on bedtime for those kids that are napping?
Yes, you hit the nail on the head right there. So we're continuing to do that. You would do the same thing for their afternoon nap if they were on 2 naps or just for the 1 nap, okay? Let them sleep for the allotted time that you want them to sleep for. And then if their bedtime is 7 p.m. normally, it's 7:30.
Great.
Okay?
Great.
So you're going to do that for 3 nights. On the 4th night, everything goes back to normal for bedtime. On the 4th night, you put your child to bed at 7 p.m. On the day after the 4th night, so like the 5th day, all naps are back to their normal time. Like if it's 9 o'clock and 2 o'clock,
Got it.
So that's what you would do for toddlers.
Great. Wow. So, something that occurs to me as we're talking about this, Annie, is as mothers, right? Like we've got our little routines. If we're a working mom, like we've got our routines. Routines, like it's uncomfortable when they're disrupted. So I just want to say to the listeners, you're going to need to be flexible for your child's sleep needs. Yes, your world is going to get a little bit rocked at daylight savings time. And Mom, like, I'm going to ask you to put your big girl panties on and just be okay with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. The thing with children, though, you kind of always have to be flexible.
Touche! Touche! What are you thinking you can control everything?
Yeah.
Good point. So this, like all things in motherhood, we have to be flexible. We have to give them some freedom to develop.
Yeah, because if you're so strict with your routine all the time, I mean, of course, I always advocate for a consistent routine, but if it shifts like 30 minutes here and there, no big deal. Let your shoulders fall below your earlobes. Don't be so stressed out about it, because that's not going to be good for you while you're taking care of your kids.
Great point and good advice. Wonderful.
So just to wrap it up too about the daylight savings time, if you have an infant, so a baby that is around 6 months or older, 6 months to a year, and they're on multiple naps, so like 3 naps, what I want you to do is, let's say bedtime is 7 p.m. You're going to move bedtime 15 minutes earlier each night until you reach the normal bedtime, okay?
Okay.
So the first night you would put baby down at 7:45 p.m.
Okay.
Okay? Then the second night you would put baby down at 7:30 p.m.
Okay, and this is new time, right?
This is new time.
Okay, this is what my clock reads.
Right.
Okay.
So that by the fourth night, baby is back to normal bedtime at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how you would handle an infant.
As opposed to splitting the difference with an infant, we're doing this in 15-minute increments.
Right, because their awake time is smaller than an older child.
Yeah. Okay, good. So we've got strategies for that non-napping. We've got strategies for the toddler who naps as well as the infant.
Yes.
Woo! We can do this.
Yeah.
Annie, what about, you're the sleep guru. Tell the moms out there what they can be doing to create healthy sleep habits for themselves, because we know that we can't be the best moms to our children we can be if we are tired and ragged.
Absolutely. And that all starts with, you need to stop screen time between an hour to 2 hours before bedtime. This is really important.
Stop shopping that Zaya on One Lift Mom. I put your new releases out earlier in the day. Stop shopping it.
I really cannot say this enough. Blue light affects us so much. Even watching The Bachelor on Monday night, we were still getting blue light, and that is very disruptive to our sleep. And how it's disruptive is we will come out of a sleep cycle at the latter half of the night, so around 3 or 4 a.m., when melatonin stops producing, and we will be wide awake and unable to connect sleep cycles more easily.
So what about like those, what would you say to somebody that's like, oh, I've got night vision, or what, those apps on your phone that supposedly eliminate some of the light? Are you calling BS on that?
A little bit, yeah, I am.
Okay.
If you want healthy sleep habits, if you want a good night of sleep, just don't do the screen time. Read a book.
Yeah. So what about things in our room? Like, I'm thinking about, like, we run a fan that has a little light, or like sometimes my computer printer light will be on. Should I be like covering those with electrical tape or something? Is that light going to affect my sleep?
No. Thankfully not. Those little minuscule lights definitely won't affect your sleep. It's the iPads, the phones, the TVs, all of that. Just get in the habit of turning it off at, 8:30 and doing something else, whether that be journaling for 5 minutes.
Your husband? Oh, yeah. I hope they don't put an NSFW on this for me. What? There's no screen there.
That is so true. Whatever it is that you didn't accomplish during the day, accomplish then. And then you know that you can go to sleep without anything weighing on your mind.
Great.
So that is definitely the biggest tip I could give.
So biggest tip. I'm not even going to ask you for more because, guys, cut out the screens before. This has been so much fun. I have to tell the listeners, we had intended to do this over the phone, and then we were just having technical difficulties. So here we sit in your closet. This has actually been a ton of fun. You guys, Annie, I just asked her a lot of technical stuff, and she's not looking at notes. She's saying this stuff. I can tell it's from the heart. Annie, like, God has you doing what you should be doing. I'm going to put your, like, information in the show notes because you work with folks all across the country, right?
Yeah, actually, I'm actually starting to work with someone in Germany right now.
Hey, all across the world. That's awesome. So I'll put your stuff down. Remember, y'all, if it's working for you, you don't need Annie. If you know that it's not working for you, get in touch with Annie.
And I will have a bunch of information on my website, too, especially about daylight savings time.
Yeah. All right, moms, send this episode to anyone who's going to be helping you through daylight savings time. So dad, grandparents, childcare folks. And so then you can create a game plan and have a team approach. Thank you so much to Annie for helping us with this transition. Even if there wasn't a time change coming up, she gave us a ton of great parenting nuggets. Like, if it's working for you, mama, keep doing it. Until I get into your earpiece again, remember, for while bodily training is of some value, godliness is of value in every way, as it holds promise for the present life and also the life to come. That's from 1 Timothy 4:8, and this has been the Run Lift Mom podcast. Hey, Run Lift Mom listeners, you know I'm the mom of 4 kids under age 5, and therefore I am always looking for ways to work smart, not hard. Anchor is the smartest way to make a podcast. Let me tell you why. First of all, there are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. But Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so then it can be heard on places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a whole lot more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It is quite literally everything you need all in one place. And y'all, it's free. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It is time for the Zaya Active product of the week, and this week it is the Haze Yoga Shawl. This is one of our new releases, and I completely dismissed it until I saw it on women in person at the Zaya Active Summit in Dallas this past weekend. You guys, this thing is beautiful, and you need not be a yogi to appreciate the details in this pullover. Now, it is a layering piece. It has thumb holes to keep your sleeves in place, but it drapes so nicely over your body and slips right over your head. No ties, snaps, button zippers, nothing like that. It's all one piece. It's flat seamed, also contrasting stitching. This thing looks beautiful, and it's in a nice neutral color. So check out the show notes. You'll see the link to the item of the week. Again, this week it is the Haze Yoga Shawl. I'm not going to do yoga in it, but I am going to love it. During the month of February, I had a goal of getting 1,000 downloads with the Run Lift Mom podcast. With your help, I was able to get to 2,500. Yeah! Out of the park. Thank you so much for helping me with my launch month. But guys, I am just getting started. I want you to help me by rating, reviewing, and subscribing wherever you get your podcast. That really helps other folks find this show. And also, if you know somebody that would be a really cool interview for the Run Lift Mom podcast, make a warm introduction. My email is in the show notes. Thanks again for helping me get Run Lift Mom off to a great start. First, so now we're just testing the audio. What did you have for breakfast today, Annie?
I had a turkey white egg breakfast sandwich. It was good.
Yum. Delish.